Hi, I'm Samson Okari from SPL Tutorials. In this session, I'll take us through the formatting of a document in order for it to be printed. So how do you format a document to be printed? I have with me here an income statement that I'd wish to print. But when I do Control P, which is the shortcut for printing, or when I go to File and say that I would like to have this document printed, I click on print. It already shows me that the document has 2 pages. But in the real sense, it's that my forecast period for this income statement for 2024 and 2025 has overlapped to the next page. But I don't want to have an extra page, which is not necessary. So to format this, I'll go to the print sheet at the actual size or the scaling point here, and I will choose one of the options that I have. In this particular case, because it's my columns that have overlapped to the next page, I will say I want to fit 2 columns on 1 page. And if I do so, my document will now become 1 page, and it's going to be presentable. I can also change and fit all rows to 1 page if it were pages that are overlapping and I feel that there is space for them to occupy in the first page. The next thing I need to do when I'm formatting and printing my document is to ensure that it's the correct orientation. You can either have a landscape orientation or a portrait orientation. But in this particular case, if I choose the portrait orientation, you can see my document looks very tiny, very small. So to make it more feasible, then I'll need to choose an appropriate orientation. And in this particular case, it will be a portrait, a landscape orientation. Next, I need to choose the size of the paper that I need to print. Usually when printing a document, for example, financial statements, you need to choose A4. There are many other paper sizes that you can choose, be it legal, ledger, statement, executive. We have from A0 all the way. You can see we have B2, B1, envelope, envelope DL, 12 by 18. We have quite a number of them, depending on the situation. But if you are printing an official document, for example, financial statements, I would recommend that you print using the A4 size. But still, you have even more options. You can choose more paper sizes by clicking on the more paper sizes option. Now, the next thing that you need to do in formatting your document so that you are going to print a document that is well formatted is something to do with margins. We have got quite a number of margins. It can be last custom setting, normal, there is wide, and there is narrow margin. So if I click on narrow margin, for example, you'll see my document will reduce the margins at the right and left corners. If I go ahead and click wide, you can see it leaves enough space, especially for those documents that you'll need to bind. You know, you might find that you have bound a document and even the words have also been bound. So you want to ensure that you've left sufficient for the binding place so that you don't punch and bind the words. So you need to give a very wide margin. Additionally, Excel gives you an option to customize your margins by clicking on custom margins. And if you click on custom margins, you can decide how you want your margins to be it from the page, the margins. You have the margins here. You can decide on how you want to design them. For example, do you want them to be two from the right and 2.5 from the 2 from the left and 2.5 from the right? If you say so and click OK, you can see something changing. But I usually prefer if you can make it square. In that particular case, if you're doing custom margins, you can do, if it's 2, if it's 2.5, let it be 2.5 from the left and 2.5 from the right, so that your document will appear presentable. You can as well also from here set margins for your header, the top and the header. What do you want the size of the margin at the top be? Because remember that the margins we have been looking at are the ones at the left and the right, but still you can talk about the top and the header. And also you can set for the bottom and the footer. How much space do you need at the top and the bottom, at the right and at the left? Once you've done that, you can as well go to page setup for more options. And here, you can have more options. For example, do you want to have grid lines? Let's see what happens if we do grid lines. That document is now going to be printed having those grid lines that I've just shown because I've clicked on grid lines. You can as well edit your header and footer from here, especially if you want to insert pages because you want your document to be paginated. So you'd like to insert pages to your Excel document. And how you can do this is by going to header stroke footer, then go to custom footer. And in this particular case, I want my pages to be at the center. It can be left section. Your page can be at the left section. It can be at the center section, and it can be at the right section. So maybe we are preferring to have our page number at the center of the page. So in this particular case, let's say this is going to be our page number 1. I want you to see that this document as of now does not have any page number. But the moment I put page number 1 here and click OK, and again click OK, you'll see my number has shown here. So I now have that as page number 1. So I can go ahead and insert page number 2, page number 3, all the way, depending on the number of pages that my document has. The next important thing that one needs to do when they want to print a document in Excel is to determine how they want the document to be printed. For example, this one says print one-sided, meaning that if there are 10 pages, I need 10 sheets of paper. That is to mean that it's only one to be one-sided. One side of the sheet is not going to have anything printed on it. So I'll need 10. But if I change and say, I want to be printed on both sides, that means now I'll need only 5 sheets of paper. And that will reduce on the cost, probably if I didn't want to have to use a lot of paper. So if you are printing on A4, you'll say you want to print on both sides, but flip on long edge. So in this case, I can go ahead and set that I want to print that document on both sides, but I want to flip on long edge. Now I want to demonstrate how that helps by adding another page over here. I have this other page here, so that now I want to print, for example, the two pages. So that now I want to print the 2 pages. So I'll click on this page, and again this other page, and say I want to print. So you can see I have 2 pages over here. So I'll say I want to print, or my print to have the entire workbook printed, or I want to have my print will be on both sides, flipping on long edge. And this can now tell me how many papers or sheets of paper I'll need in order to print it out. So then once you've done the print settings, friend, you can go ahead and print the document. Always ensure that the document has been set in a way that you can easily print and it's not going to have breaks. For example, look at this now, that because we have done some changes, you can see now my income statement alone has 6 pages, but these pages have broken. For example, you can see the first page has 2016 to 2019. The second page has 2020 to 2025. My next page has the balance sheet and so forth. So to ensure that my page is not, or my pages are not broken, we said, in this case, we have to decide first of all the orientation, and we have said we're going to have the landscape orientation. Then we decide that we want A4. Then we say we want to scale and have all columns fitted on one page. And you can see the moment you change a number of things, the number of pages will be changing. Then, of course, the normal margins are the default, but if you want to customize your margins, you can go ahead and customize. So that is it for today. What I want us to learn is that there is importance of, or the importance of formatting your document when you want to print it. But lastly, when formatting the document, there are some other things you can do. For example, you can do what we call a page break, which again helps in formatting your document. You can see here, there's this icon here called a page break preview, which if you click on, like I've done, it will now show us how this document of ours looks like. So it's just a moment of now clicking on the document itself. It's a moment, it's just clicking on the document itself so that I can now increase its font. But what it has done is that it has made a page break preview. So let me click on this, and Excel has got scroll bars, so you can scroll this way so that you can see the whole of the document. And also it has got the zoom scroll bar, which can help you either reduce the size of the screen or increase the size of the screen. So that if you want to have a better view, you can do it there. In this particular case, I can reduce it to maybe 90 something so that I can be able to see the whole document at once. So this is now what we call the page break preview that has helped me in formatting that document. That is it for today. Enjoy.